I am Bryan Songy, and I am playing George in Sunday in the Park with George. Ah,
You sound a bit frazzled by that. Why is that, sir?
well, it's Sunday in the Park with George. It's the untouchable Sondheim show. It's as perfect as a piece of theater can get.
This seems to be a theme with you and me, casting you in things, and then you panicking. Because, we had Tata and Ragtime, which we'll come back to.
Sure.
And then other projects that never went anywhere. And
those were scary too.
And my thing is always, yeah, but Bryan can do it. I realized that you said you're playing George, but if you don't know the show, what does that mean?
Sure. Okay. So George is in the first act of Sunday in the Park with George is George Seurat, the impressionist painter who was pretty ahead of his time with his use of pointillism and his innovative uses of color and light within his style of painting. He also painted provincial commonplace things and kind of made the artistic community of the time re-examine what is art, what is worthy of being the subject of art. And then in Act 2, George is the great-grandson of George Seurat, an artist in his own right, trying to find a voice as individualistic and as meaningful as his great-grandfather's was.
And I think we should point out that it's a fictionalized George Seurat.
Yes. Right.
Not much is known about him, really.
Sure.
So the story that Sondheim and Lapine have come up with is very much their own creation.
Sure, and it was born of just looking at the paintings and wondering what would have fueled this. What brought him to this point? Who are these people within this painting? And why did he see them this way? Why did he paint them this way? And what does that say about the person doing the painting?
Yeah, I love Lapine's story about realizing that no one in this painting is looking at each other.
Yeah.
And therefore realizing that the main character isn't in the painting. It's the man who made it. So before we approached you about doing the show, did you have any sort of history with Sunday in the Park with George?
I think every theater student has seen the PBS recording with Mandy Patinkin and Bernadette Peters at some point in their existence. I saw it. I loved it. It felt like something that was almost too perfect for me to try and muck up at some point in my career. But then the older I got, the more my voice kind of sat into that type of material. The songs would gradually kind of seep into my rep a little bit. And it felt like maybe that's something I could do one day. But really, I'm coming into this as a fan.
So what is it about the piece that makes it that thing that you revere so much?
Well, there's the intricacy of a Sondheim score, and in this case, probably the most Sondheim-y of Sondheim scores, by which I mean it is almost infuriatingly complicated, but in the best way, because it only feeds what you as an actor need to do, which is essentially open yourself up and be a vessel for this text. The text guides you there. The music gets you there. You just have to be trusting and vulnerable enough to let all of that seep into you and pray to God you have all of those rhythms and contours of the song in your body. What really hits me in the head, especially now, is the idea of connection, of trying to make something when you are, on some level, as an artist, isolated, and knowing that the end result of your work will have to reach people, but existing in a time where it's harder and harder to make a genuine connection and have that trust and speak with the futile hope of being heard, and then to put yourself out there anyway.
I don't remember. Have you ever seen the actual painting?
I haven't seen the completed work. In the Met, there is a study that he did probably 2 years before he completed the actual work. And it's fairly similar to the completed work. You can notice some subtle differences in the composition. But no, I haven't had the Ferris Bueller's Day Off moment of standing in front of it yet.
I remember many years ago seeing Ferris Bueller and going, what is this reaction? I don't understand. I love this painting. I love this painting, but don't get me wrong. And then I was very lucky a few years ago, actually on the trip where I met Alan, to see the painting.
Okay.
And that is the you're just so overwhelmed. Overwhelmed isn't the right word, but it washes over you. There's something about that painting that it was so interesting because it's in a room with other things. It's on its own wall because it's so big, but it's in a room with other things. And there's all this hustle and bustle, except for in front of that painting. Because people just stop. And you can't help but just... There's something that emanates off of that work. This is not your first go-around with Brief Cameo Productions. What have you done with us in the past?
I was Tata in the inaugural production of Ragtime. And I have worked with most of the core company members of Brief Cameo in various capacities over the years. And like I said, find you all to be incredible theater makers, but also incredible humans and people who operate at a great intersection of great work and great personhood. And I think what the company does really inspires the best work of everybody that is putting their talents into it.
Can you talk a little bit about what our process is like?
Put it together in a week. And I think even a week is generous. I think we had, 4 days
we
on book work. And then almost immediately on its feet thereafter, straight into tech.
Yeah, so I'll just clarify a little bit. It's 3 days in the rehearsal room.
Oh, was it? It was all a blur. I'm sorry. Time was irrelevant.
It is all a blur. It's 3 days in the rehearsal room, half a day in the space, then tech, and then we opened.
Oh, God, we did that?
We did.
So what that does is it makes you really come in respecting the material. There's a reason why we're all in this room. It's because Brief Cameo's mission to do not obscure works, but seldom produced works because of their scope. And to do them well means that we are coming in already engaging with the material and ready to engage with each other.
And also, I think in casting, we, as you said, we pick people that we want to work with because A, we have this schedule. So you need to be on board the train.
Absolutely.
And also people that we trust to be able to say, hi, you have 3 days to essentially learn a 400-page score.
No, it very much helps that I am working with people who are doing this well and for the right reasons. And that's certainly been my experience with the company up until this point.
Casting
I'm
Bryan
certainly
Songy
excited
and
to
Andy.
get on stage with Andy. I can't wait to just toss the ball and see what comes back to me. She is such an exciting actress. On top of being a brilliant singer, she's so funny. And I cannot wait to see what she does with that.
And you two had, I think, 3 lines together in ragtime? Sure. And it was just watching the two of you do those 3 lines. We went, oh, yeah, here it is. I'm done.
Very, very, very excited to get in the sandbox with her.
So what are you looking forward to most about being part of the Brief Cameo Productions concert staging of Sunday in the Park with George?
Yeah, I am most looking forward to having sung all of the notes in Sunday in the Park with George. If I'm up there in Brief Cameo staging of Sunday in the Park with George, it means that I have successfully learned Sunday in the Park with George, and I will have sung it, and that is what I am most looking forward to. I am very much looking forward to sharing this material with the people that I get to share it with on stage, as well as with the people with whom we get to share it in the audience.